For kids in the 90s, there were few better microwave meal options than the noble Hot Pocket, a simple turnover stuffed with pizza. The Hot Pocket inspired as much loyalty as fear among its fans, as its ability to burn the hell out of your mouth became the stuff of schoolyard legend. But where did they come from? Who invented this lava-filled rectangle of raditude? And how did it go from a freezer aisle oddity to a staple of school lunches, late nights, and microwave roulette? Well, today, we're peeling back the crisping sleeve to find out how Hot Pockets dominated the 90s. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. Then leave a comment, letting us know what other microwavable memories you'd like us to cook up next. Okay, not to nitpick, but it's really more of a pouch than a pocket. The Hot Pocket wasn't born in a lab or conjured by a wizard with access to frozen food. It was created, like all great American inventions, by two ambitious guys looking to feed people something hot, cheap, and fast. Meet Paul and David Mirage, two Iranian Jewish brothers who immigrated to the US in the 1960s and decided to make their mark on the American food scene. They started with a company called Chef America Inc., which, despite sounding like a temp service for budget superheroes, was a food operation out of Colorado. The Mirages originally created a line of stuffed sandwiches in the late 1970s under the name Tasty Witch. Despite being an early version of the microwave treat that would make them kings, the Tasty Witch didn't take off. Possibly because Tasty Witch is the socks and sandals of food names. But it was the proto-pocket. Tasty Witch was an early attempt at a quick, microwavable sandwich. Soft bread, filled with meat and cheese, and designed for the office lunch crowd. Unfortunately, the bread got soggy. The texture was weird, and America wasn't quite ready for that kind of sacrifice. But the Mirage brothers didn't give up. In 1983, they rebranded. They took the same general concept, tweaked the crust, adjusted the fillings, and gave it a name that sounded like a sci-fi survival food: Hot Pockets. It worked. Hot Pockets were essentially a frozen turnover, but without any of the elegance. A rectangle of dough, filled with something vaguely meat-like, sealed within a food sarcophagus, and ready to nuke. What made the Hot Pockets a hit where Tasty Witch struck out, apart from the name obviously? Well, the Mirage brothers had solved the sogginess problem. They developed a patented crisping sleeve, a cardboard miracle lined with sus-level science that somehow made a microwaved Hot Pocket feel toasty, crisp, and flaky. What the Hot Pocket lacked in elegance was made up for by its sheer efficiency. They were fast, portable, perfect for a microwave culture on the rise. It didn't care if you respected it, it just needed you to be hungry and low on time. So how did this humble pocket of filling become a freezer aisle staple? At first, Hot Pockets were marketed toward adults, especially workers looking for a fast lunch. Office break rooms across America started to hum with the smell of molten ham and cheese, and the crisping sleeve became a common sight next to vending machines and those coffee pots nobody ever cleaned. But the real explosion came when they pivoted toward teenagers. By the late 80s, the microwave was king. It wasn't just for reheating coffee, it was a battleground for after-school snacks. And Hot Pockets were perfectly engineered for latchkey kids everywhere. You got home, you were starving, your mom and dad were at work, you wanted pizza. Enter the pepperoni pizza Hot Pocket. They weren't an overnight cultural icon, but they were a slow, steady burn, literally and figuratively. Sales rose, variants multiplied, people started comparing them to calzones, empanadas, and science projects gone deliciously wrong. From the jump, Hot Pockets offered flavors like ham and cheese and pepperoni pizza, but they quickly expanded the menu to include beef taco, barbecue beef, sausage, egg, and cheese, meatball and mozzarella, Philly cheesesteak, and chicken broccoli and cheese, the one you buy when your parents are coming to visit so they think you're eating well. Some were hits, some were disasters. Some, like chicken pot pie, were quietly discontinued and never spoken of again. There were even briefly apple cinnamon Hot Pockets, which tasted like if a McDonald's pie had anxiety. Despite being a radical new product, the marketing for Hot Pockets was comparatively mild at first, relying mostly on print ads and coupons. There was no full-on Hot Pocket revolution campaign in the 80s, but they crept into America's consciousness like food fog, unnoticed until suddenly they were everywhere. Now we enter the golden age of chaotic food, the 1990s. The time of snap bracelets, dial-up internet, and an arms race of microwavable, pizza-adjacent snacks for kids. Hot Pockets duked it out with Bagel Bites, Totino's Pizza Rolls, Pizza Pockets, and at one point, microwavable pizza on a stick. Yes, pizza on a stick. The marketing during this time escalated. Totino's had high-energy commercials.
I love Totino!
Bagel Bites created an all-time jingle that's still stuck in your brain.
When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime.
Meanwhile, Hot Pockets leaned into the brand identity of being cheesy, portable, and available just about everywhere in a cornucopia of varieties, including Lean Pockets. If you said there's no way any radical 90s kid would reach for something called Lean Pockets, you're absolutely right. Lean Pockets were strictly marketed to adults who needed to eat on the go but wanted to chow down on something slightly less terrible for your health, deliciousness notwithstanding. Instead of layers of pizza, Lean Pockets had whole wheat crusts, reduced fat cheese, and filling options like chicken spinach artichoke or broccoli cheddar and chicken. But Lean Pockets have never quite caught on. They've been discontinued, revived, and discontinued again, like the will they won't they of the freezer aisle. By the late 90s, Hot Pockets were everywhere, and even though Bagel Bites and pizza rolls held strong, Hot Pockets stood out. They weren't snacks, they were meals. They were big, bold, and aggressively filling, like burritos crammed full of pizza. Ultimately, Hot Pockets came out on top, and not only because of the bigger portions, flexibility, and crossover appeal between kids and adults. Eventually, they got a secret weapon, the crisping sleeve. Officially called a susceptor, the Hot Pocket sleeve is lined with a metallic material that absorbs microwave energy and reflects heat back onto the crust. In other words, it turns your microwave oven into a classic oven. This invention changed the game because before the sleeve, Hot Pockets were either mushy with frozen centers,
Hot on the outside, icicle in the middle.
or rock hard with explosive filling.
My f***ing mouth!
With the sleeve, they became crispier and flakier and even more appealing than before. But they were still hot, dangerously hot. Hot Pockets don't court controversy. They're tiny folded meat pouches, and they're only here to please. However, as anyone who has ever bitten into a fresh-from-the-wave Hot Pocket can tell you, the laws of thermodynamics do not apply. The outer crust is warm. The inside is the surface of the sun. That first bite is a test of faith and enamel. We all have a story and a battle scar. And it's not just you. People have definitely been injured. For instance, in 2009, a man in Texas sued Nestle, who now owns the Hot Pockets brand, after biting into one and suffering second-degree burns on his mouth and throat. He claimed the filling shot out like lava, which surprised no one because it's accurate. Every package of Hot Pockets you see today contains an urgent warning label about the dangers of biting into a pocket that is too hot. The brand also dealt with some dramatic product recalls. One in 2014 over millions of pounds of contaminated meat that had found their way into some Hot Pockets. And again in 2021 after slivers of plastic and glass were found in 2 varieties. Hey, pain is part of the Hot Pocket experience. But sometimes bad press really is good press. In the early 2000s, comedian Jim Gaffigan released a stand-up bit about Hot Pockets that became an early viral hit. He called them everything that's wrong with America in a pastry. He made fun of the temperature, the flavor, the packaging, the sadness.
Hot Pockets!
It was brutal, and Hot Pockets loved it. Sales didn't drop. In fact, they rose. Gaffigan made Hot Pockets part of the cultural conversation. They were in on the joke.
You're the Hot Pocket guy.
For a while, Hot Pockets even leaned into the absurdity in their marketing. Because here's the truth. You don't eat a Hot Pocket because it's good. You eat it because it's Hot Pocket time. Hot Pockets are still here, scalding tongues, and filling freezers with varieties like 4-cheese pizza, ham and cheese, buffalo-style chicken, high-protein steak and cheddar, pretzel crust cheeseburger, and breakfast bacon, egg, and cheese. Meanwhile, the croissant crust line is still trying to make gourmet Hot Pockets happen. Those words were never meant to be that close together. Hot Pockets has even embraced social media. There was a TikTok campaign, a Twitch gaming partnership, and a Brackets of Flavor March Madness-style contest to let fans vote on their favorites. But have they gotten any better? Or are they still next to the ice cream on the guilty pleasure shelf in the freezer? Yes and no. They cook faster. The crust is less chewy. There are more high-protein and low-fat options. But the core experience is the same. You toss one of these babies into the microwave and then eat it as fast as you can without going to a burn ward. Because in the end, Hot Pockets aren't just a snack. They're a rite of passage. Let's see Lean Cuisine pull that off. So what do you think? Are you a fan of Hot Pockets, or have you been burned in the past? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other Weird History food videos.